Okay, friends, chapter 4 of Shiloh season. Dad come by in the Jeep next morning to take me home. 6 days a week he picks up the mail in Sistersville for 280 families. And after he delivers that, he picks up the mail for 360 more outside of Friendly. We don't go directly home, of course. I got to wait while he stops at every mailbox between David's house and ours. Could have walked it, but I like to open boxes for Dad, stuff the mail in. What I like most, though, is finding a loaf of banana bread or half an apple pie that folks sometimes leave in their boxes for Dad. People like my dad because he delivers their mail no matter what. Can be 7 o'clock in the evening, snowing like you wouldn't believe, but Dad'll be out there in his Jeep getting that mail through. Soon as I slide on the seat beside him, though, and we give the mail to David Howard, I ask, Shiloh okay? Dad's moving the Jeep onto the next house. Looked fine to me this morning, he says. Why? Just wondering, I tell him. You have a good time with David? Sure, I always do. I'm looking forward to Mrs. Ellison's box, which is coming up soon, because she leaves a piece of cake for Dad almost every day. Sure enough, I reach my hand in her box and pull out a loaf wrapped in foil, and my mouth's watering already. Then I read the label she's put on it. Zucchini bread, it says. Why'd she have to ruin it, I say? Who would put squash in a cake loaf? Dad just chuckles. You take a bite out of that, you won't even notice, he says. But I figure I can last the morning on the pecan waffles Mrs. Howard made for our breakfast. I get the mail ready for the next box. Did you know there are 2 Denvers in West Virginia, I say? Wouldn't surprise me if there were even a couple more, Dad says. How can there be 2 places named the same in one state, I ask. If you don't incorporate, you can call a place most anything you want, he says. We could call our own place Denver if we wanted to. Could we call it New York City or Chicago? Expect you could. Postmaster down in Friendly would have a laughing fit, that's all, Dad says. After I put the mail in Mrs. Ellison's box and turn up the red flag on the side so she can see she's got mail, I ask, Dad, what happened at Judd's last Saturday when you went over? Dad gives a sigh. Let's just say Judd wasn't himself, Marty. He's drinking again, wasn't he? He'd been drinking some, yes. Did he say he'd been hunting up in our woods? Well, the conversation didn't exactly go as I'd planned. So what'd he say? Oh, he rambled on about how you took the best hunting dog you ever had. It's just nonsense, Marty. I can feel my chest tighten, though. It was the one thing I didn't want to hear. I earned that dog fair and square, I say. Course you did. Judd was just jawing again. But I don't want you and Becky and Darylyn up in those woods till I've got this settled. Don't want you up in the meadow either. Next time I hear gunshots, I'm going up there myself and check. Didn't make me feel any better. It's nice to be riding along with my dad on a warm September day, though. Breeze coming in one window and floating out the other. When we get up as far as our driveway, I decide I'll go on across the bridge with Dad this time and help deliver the mail on the road where Judd lives. I figured this will give Judd a second chance to say something about Shiloh if he's got a grudge building up inside him. Maybe if we can talk it out, things will be okay. But when we get up to his trailer, an old brown and white thing with rust stains on the roof, Judd's nowhere to be seen. We know he's not out hunting because all 3 of his dogs are chained. They go crazy when they see the Jeep. Leap and growl and bark, teeth showing, chains jerking. I put the mail in Judd's box and watch the door, thinking maybe he'll hear all the ruckus and come out. His truck's there, but there's no sign of him, living or dead, and I wonder if he's even fed his dogs this morning. Judd don't work Saturdays, I ask as the Jeep starts up again. I think he works every other Saturday, something like that. What kind of work does he do? I try to think what kind of job would be right for a man like Judd Travers. Rattlesnake handler, maybe. Alligator wrestler. Mechanic, Dad says. Works on trucks and cars down at Whelan's garage. I hear he's right good at it. I guess a man can be good at some things and horrible at others. Good with car and truck engines and bad with dogs and people. Dad's route ends a couple miles down at a ford where water comes over the road, and that's where we turn around and head back. After we come across the bridge by the old mill, I take our mail and zucchini bread and head on up to the house because Dad's got a couple hours of deliveries yet to do. And here comes Shiloh to meet me, legs flying out from under him. I pinch off a piece of the zucchini bread and he gulps it right down. That dog will eat anything. You give him a piece of bread made of spinach and Brussels sprouts, I bet he'd gobble that down too and then beg for more. I go up the driveway beside Shiloh. I'm thinking how he's always in a good mood, always ready to jump to his feet and do any fool thing you got in mind. Don't matter how tired he is or how hot or cold it is outside, he'll be right there at the door waiting to go with you. You treat a dog right, he's your friend for life. Better natured than sisters, that's for sure. Darylyn gets up some mornings, looks like she's about to break your arm. You even look at her cross-eyed. I ate lunch. Ma's got some turkey sandwiches waiting before I head over to Doc Murphy's to do my work. What'd you do at David's? Darylyn asked me, mouthful of bread. All kinds of stuff, I tell her. Did Mrs. Howard have a good dinner? Asked Ma. I'm only 11, but I know that when your ma asks about somebody else's cooking, you got to be real careful. The chocolate pie was good, I say, and Becky and Darylyn both start squealing about why don't we ever have chocolate pie. But the rest wasn't anything special, I finish. Well, what was it? Mothers have to know the details. Some kind of meat, I guess, some kind of vegetables, I tell her. She don't look so interested after that. Shiloh follows me down toward Doc Murphy's. Before we get to the end of the driveway, though, I see Judd's pickup coming across the bridge on the right. It gets down at the bottom of our driveway and stops. Thump, thump, thump. Hard to tell sometimes if it's your heart beating or your knees knocking or both of them together. It'd be cowardly to turn around and go back now, so I just keep walking. Shiloh don't, though. He stops dead still. Hey, Marty! Judd opens the truck door and puts one foot out. Come on down here. I don't know whether to go or not. What do you want? I call. Want to show you something. I don't want to go much, but then Judd gets out and walks around behind his truck. He's pointing to the back, so I go down and walk over. You look here, says Judd. Somebody's taken a nail or screwdriver or something and made a long, deep scratch in the paint all the way from Judd's license plate to the door on the right-hand side. I give a little whistle. You any idea who might have done this to my truck? Judd Travers is uglier than a snake. Not face ugly exactly, but mean ugly. He even tried being anything but mean. He might not look so bad. His eyes are all bloodshot, though, and his breath, whew, you put your nose down inside a bottle. That's his smell. I shake my head. He looks at me hard. You think of any boys who could have done it? Nobody I know. Well, you listen around. If you find out who scratched my truck, you tell me, you hear? I'll listen, I say, but I don't promise nothing.